What a game we have this Thursday. It's the Buffalo Bills at 7-3, coming off a big win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going on the road to play the Houston Texans, who are 5-5. They've won back-to-back thrillers with their backup quarterback, Davis Mills. Two defensive head coaches, short week, Thursday night football. Let's go. This game preview is presented to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. One touchdown can change everything. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, where every touchdown can bring you closer to cashing in. With DraftKings Sportsbook, all the action is in your hands. First touchdown, anytime touchdown, live bets. Every play, every snap, every game matters. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook and use code Gruden. The crown is yours. This Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season's in full swing. And whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Okay, it's the Buffalo Bills, led by head coach Sean McDermott. McDermott just won his 100th game last week, if you include the postseason. 100 victories as an NFL head coach, and he's done it in just 9 seasons. And he's a heck of a defensive coach. He brings his Buffalo Bills on the road to play the Houston Texans, and head coach DeMeco Ryans, a former linebacker, another defensive coach. He carved his teeth as a defensive coordinator with the 49ers. It's the MVP, Josh Allen, in Houston to go up against the #1 defense. I'm so excited to see this matchup. I can hardly even think about what to say. I mean, when you get Josh Allen off the airplane and he's got to go see this Houston Texan defense on the road, it's great against great. And something's going to happen. It's probably great. The Bills have been an interesting team this year. They've been up, they've been down. They had some ugly losses at Atlanta on Monday Night Football. Ugly loss a couple weeks ago up in Miami, but they've had some really nice wins. They put 44 on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. They had a 15-point deficit against the Ravens on opening night. They came back with an unbelievable fourth quarter. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been up and they've been down. I can't wait to see where they are at kickoff time. And the Houston Texans, they started 0-3, and somehow they have climbed back into contention. They're 5-5 at 500 for the first time in a while, and they're doing it with their backup quarterback, Davis Mills. You know, the Texans just couldn't figure out how to win a close game. I mean, they were 0-5 in one-score games. How they lost a couple of these games early in the season, fumbles, missed kicks, whatever it may be, it was excruciating. But Davis Mills, he brought the Texans back from a 19-point deficit. They beat the Jaguars. Incredible. And then last week, a huge pass on 3rd and 16 set up a game-winning field goal, and the Texans beat the Tennessee Titans. They're 5-5, and they can really play defense, and Davis Mills has some confidence. Take a look at the numbers in this game. It's the battle of strengths against strengths, and the strength of the Buffalo Bills is this offense. They got a great running back in James Cook. They got the MVP, Josh Allen. And the Houston Texans are great on defense in every single statistical category. This game, the Bills averaging 29.2 points per game, and the Texans only give up 16 points a game. The Bills are 3rd, the Texans are 1st. What gives? You look at the total yards. Buffalo, 2nd in the league, 387, and the Texans are only giving up 258. They're #1 in the league in total defense. Rushing defense, the Bills are #1, the Texans are #3. Pass offense, the Bills are #8, the Texans are #2. So this is going to be a really good, explosive, versatile Buffalo Bill offense against a very dominant Texan defense. The Texans are 3-2 at home this year, and the Buffalo Bills are 2-2 on the road. Take a look at the AFC standings in terms of the playoffs. It's getting that time of year, you know. Playoffs? That's right. The division leaders over here on the left, Denver at 8-2. The Pats are 9-2. The Colts are 8-2. Pittsburgh is 6-4. And the three teams that are in the lead for the wild card right now, well, it starts with Buffalo. They're 7-3. They feel pretty good. The Chargers 7-3. Malasek, he still has a black eye on his face from the beating they took last week. And the Jaguars are 6-4. Right behind them, still in the hunt, is your Houston Texans. They're at 5-5 with the Chiefs and Ravens. And the Miami Dolphins, believe it or not, are still alive at 4-7. But the Texans win the tiebreaker against the Chiefs and the Ravens if it comes down to that, because they beat them in a head-to-head situation. Sorry about the black eye approach there. Thursday night football. You know I hate Thursday night football. No time to recover, no time to prepare. And I'll complain about it until I hit the grave. But anyways, the Buffalo Bills love Thursday night football. They have 8 straight victories on Thursday night football. More importantly, you know who else has 8 straight victories on Thursday night football? Josh Allen. He seems to love the short week. The Texans have lost their last 3 Thursday night games, and they're only averaging 13 points per game. So that might be something that sways you if you're considering doing something with this game. The Texans have had Buffalo's number. You know, in the last 8 outings, the Texans have won 6 out of 8, including a 2019 wild card playoff victory. They beat the Buffalo Bills 22-19 to end the Bills season. The last time these two teams met was last year. You got to think back. I'll bet many of you remember this game. It was a 23-20 thriller. It was 20-3 Texans at halftime. It was all Houston, right there in Houston, you know. But Josh Allen come out of the locker room. They scored 17 unanswered points to tie it. But Kaimi Fairbairn, he kicked a 59-yard bomb at the end of regulation to win it 23-20. If you go back to that game, C.J. Stroud played well. He threw for 331 yards. I know he's not playing, but they did have success throwing the ball against a very good Buffalo defense. And Josh Allen had one of his worst career games. This was astonishing. You got to concentrate on this. Josh Allen was 9 for 30 passing last year against these Houston Texans. Now, he missed a couple throws. Houston's pass rush gave him problems. We'll get into that in a minute. But 9 for 30, man, 118 yards. That hasn't happened in Josh Allen's career. Josh Allen attempted 15 passes in that game of over 10 yards and only completed 1 of them. That's how good this Houston Texans secondary is. They were 3 for 14 on 3rd down. So, let that be a history lesson in terms of this series. Houston feels confident, especially on a short week with this defense. The quarterback matchup in this one is very unique. It seems lopsided. You got Josh Allen, the MVP of the league. What a performance he just laid down against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why do I say my Buccaneers? I mean, I used to coach there, but he tore them up, man. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 319 yards in the air, and he ran for 3 touchdowns. Just so you know, that's 6 touchdowns. It's only happened 3 times in NFL history where a guy has thrown for 3 touchdowns and run for 3 touchdowns in the same game. Josh Allen did it twice. Otto Graham, 1954, did it the other time. I did a lot of research last night on that just for you. You know what's obvious to me when I watch Josh Allen? It doesn't matter who he plays with. I mean, they sat down Keon Coleman, their starting split end last week. Khalil Shakir was beat up and hurt. He could barely play. He had 1 catch for -3 yards. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen's performance is incredible. He carries this team on his back, man. His scrambling, his will to win is unique. And his size, strength, mobility combination, it's hard to deal with. You know, I sit there and I just say, man, this guy is fearless. Sometimes I say, this guy is nuts. He's reckless. But he is the most exciting player that I have seen in football this year. An incredible will to win. Al Davis used to say that a lot. He's a premier competitor. He's the leader on this team. And I don't know what people expected, but after they lose to Miami and play the way they did, you just knew he was pissed off and he was going to come out prepared and ready to roll last week against the Bucs. He took all his frustration out on the Tampa Bay Bucs. Josh Allen has never seen before production. He just ran for his 75th touchdown. He's surpassing Cam Newton as the all-time rushing touchdowns leader at the quarterback position. But I started thinking about 75 rushing touchdowns. That's Earl Campbell. He passed Earl freaking Campbell, man. He's closing in on Pete Johnson, the ex-Cincinnati Bengal, at 76. Hell, my guy, Tony Dorsett, I just saw him at the Pitt game. He had 77 touchdowns. Josh Allen has 75. That tells you the rare air that he's in running the ball. And throwing the ball, he's got 213 passing touchdowns. And that puts him right up there with Brett Favre. In the first 8 years of his career, to be up there in this category, rushing touchdowns, and up here in the top 5 of passing touchdowns, that's called rare production. And he's going up against Davis Mills. Say who, Jake?
Who?
Say who, Clay? Who is Davis Mills? Well, if you look at it, he's 5-19-1 as a starting quarterback. So right away, you're taking Josh Allen and the Bills. Hold on, Nelly. Keith Jackson. Whoa, Nelly. Think about the Texans. They were 3-5, and C.J. Stroud is laying on the ground. He's hurt. He has to come out of the game, and they turn to Davis Mills. I don't think anybody expected this, but somehow, some way, the Texans have got up off the ground, and they're 5-5, and they're playing pretty damn good on offense with Davis Mills at quarterback. The last 3 starts for Davis Mills have been dramatic, game-ending victories. Hell, the last time I went back and saw him was 2022 against the Colts. He threw a 28-yard touchdown pass and a 2-point play with 28 seconds left to beat the Colts. The next film I see is playing Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. They're down by 19 points in the fourth quarter. Son of a bitch! He brings them back with a 15-yard scramble run on 3rd and 14 for a touchdown. And then last week, 3rd and 16, fourth quarter, late, he throws a 17-yard bench route on a dime to Nico Collins to set up a game-winning field goal. Last 3 games, 3 clutch fourth quarter performances. Get to know him a little bit. He comes out of Stanford. He's 27 years old. He's even-keeled. You never see him excited. You never see him upset. He's a Terminator, man. I like his calm approach to the game. He started 11 games as a rookie in 2021. The team wasn't very good. Then in 2022, he was the opening day starter. The team was poor. They went 3-13-1. They fired head coach Lovie Smith. In comes the Miko Ryans. They draft C.J. Stroud. He's been the backup ever since. But he has experience, even though it's not great experience, as a young starter. Hell, he played against these Buffalo Bills in 2021 as a rookie, and it was ugly. The Bills beat him 40-0. He threw 4 picks. But the guy's continued to get reps. He's been a very good understudy, and he's prepared himself well, and the team is very confident in him. When I watch Davis Mills, I see surprising athleticism. This guy can get out of trouble. I've already told you he scrambled to beat the Jaguars at the buzzer. He has a very tough, physical style of play. I mean, he'll stand in the pocket and deliver strikes under fire, man. I love that. I am told by David Shaw, the old coach at Stanford where he played, this guy has a rocket. He can stand flat-footed and throw the ball 70 yards. You don't see the cannon all the time, but when this guy cuts it loose, you see a top 10, top 12 rocket arm that's playing in the league today. He has a really good, powerful arm. And I think Davis Mills is gaining a lot of momentum. I ask you at home, what happens if Mills plays well again and they beat the Bills? That'll be 3-0 in 3 starts. Do you go back to C.J. Stroud? Is there a quarterback controversy? I don't miss those days as the head coach, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's take a look at the turnover battle in this game. If you look at the Houston Texans, what a job they have done on defense. They've taken the ball away 16 times, 10 interceptions, and they've only turned it over 9 times. They're +7. That's 6th in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills have 13 takeaways. Surprisingly, they've been turnover prone, especially the last 2 weeks. They've turned it over 12 times. Hell, they only turned it over 8 times all last year. But the Bills are +1. They're 13th in the league. So that turnover battle means a lot to a lot of people. There it is for you. The kicking battle right now favors the Buffalo Bills significantly. The Houston Texans kicker, Kaimi Fairbairn, is hurt. He kicked 5 field goals against Denver, hurt his quad, did not kick against the Tennessee Titans. They went with Matthew Wright. Now, Matthew Wright kicked a game winner, 35-yarder with 33 seconds left. But Matthew Wright, he's been around the league, 6 years. He's been on 8 different teams. Matthew Wright did miss a 31-yard field goal against the Titans, but it was called back because the Titans committed a penalty. But there'll be a lot of pressure on Matthew Wright for the Texans because points are going to be at a premium on a short week like this. The Bills have been using Matt Prater, the veteran, and what a job he has done. He's 13 for 15 on field goals, 31 for 32 on PATs. But in the last 5 games, man, he's only kicked 4 field goals. That's how good Buffalo's red zone offense is. There are some injuries real quick to update you on. For the Buffalo Bills, expect Shaq Thompson, linebacker, to return, and I think that's big. He's missed the last 3 games with the hamstring. He was productive on the tapes I saw when he was playing. I don't think Hardman, the receiver they picked up last week and used, he had a 61-yard return against Tampa. I don't think he's going to play. He hurt his calf. He left in the second half. Curtis Samuel, what's going to happen to him? He's got various injuries. He's a tough guy, but he's had some injuries this year. He's questionable. Khalil Shakir missed practice for personal reasons, but he had multiple injuries and was held to 1 catch -3 yards last week. They have a young defensive tackle, Mathis, we think is going to be out of this game. For the Texans, their outstanding nickel man, number 5, Jalen Petrie. He's missed the last 2 games with a concussion. He was on the practice field. There's a chance he plays, and if he does, that's a big lift for Houston, man. But check this before you do anything. Petrie's an impact player. C.J. Stroud, their quarterback, is out. They say he's returning next week. And they also have their kicker, Kaimi Fairbairn. Looks like he's out of this game, and that could really be significant at crunch time. Fairbairn made that 59-yard bomb to beat the Bills last year. Let's get into it. This offense-defense matchup is brought to you by Fox 1. On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite live sports. So you never miss those "did you see that" moment? That means Fox NFL Sundays are now on Fox 1. It's NFL Sundays all streaming live the way it was meant to be watched. It's also the best way to stay locked in on your action. Whether you're sweating your fantasy matchup, tracking a parlay, or just riding the chaos live as it happens. I hate watching things on delay. I gotta see it live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Okay, this Bills offense against this Texans defense. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this one. Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, against Matt Burke, defensive coordinator of the Texans. The Texans were 0-3. I think D'Amico Ryans, the head coach, was calling the plays. He called Matt Burke in. He says, hey, you call him. And Matt Burke did a hell of a job, man. They shut out the Titans, and they've been playing great defense no matter who calls the shots. This is a fun group to watch. Under Joe Brady, the Buffalo Bills have become a run-first offense. Remember, they had Ken Dorsey there calling plays a couple years ago. Coach McDermott made a change. Joe Brady has featured the running game a lot more. It's paid off in the reduction of turnovers, and it's also helped James Cook become an NFL superstar, man. James Cook is the star of this rushing attack, obviously. Last year, he averaged 13.9 yards a carry. This year, he's averaging 18.2 yards per carry. And if you watch James Cook, he's electrifying, man. They'll run the same scheme out of the same formation, the same direction, 3-4 plays in a row. This guy has 23 runs of 10 yards or more. He's a home run hitter. And he got involved in the passing game against Tampa Bay. We'll get into that in a second. But the Bills are going to run the ball, and they're going to jam it hard at this Houston Texan defense. I can't wait to see it. There's 4 things Buffalo does on offense that are pretty apparent. Number 1, they run the ball. Number 2, they throw a lot of quick passes, man. And number 3, most of their yardage in the passing game is yards after the catch. And number 4, it's a scramble drill. I mean, some of the best plays and the biggest plays in Buffalo's system are number 17 running all over the place with the ball. He'll keep it for big gains himself on the ground. And then he'll create time and throw bombs over your head. And it's a very, very, very hard thing to stop. Their running game is extensive. They run the inside zone, the outside zone. They have RPOs out of the shotgun. They run a lot of duos where they get 2 double teams and they'll press it up in there and run behind the push, or they'll let James Cook bounce it outside, and God help you if you don't have a corner that can tackle. They have two very athletic tackles in Dion Dawkins on the left side, Spencer Brown on the right side, and those tackles allow them to run a play I love. It's called Toledo, we used to call it. So on this Toledo play, 15 is to the left, 14 is to the right. On 15 Toledo, Dion Dawkins, David Edwards, they get good point of attack blocks. The center, Connor McGovern, he gets skinny and goes and gets that backside linebacker. And then the right guard, Cyrus O'Torrance, he drive blocks that 3 technique. And here comes my man Spencer Brown around the horn to block the play side linebacker, and the tight end kicks out that wide end. It's a good play. Then they get into a no-back set. They put James Cook out here in the slot, and they'll direct snap the ball to the quarterback. He'll drop back like he's passing, but guess what the play is? It's the same play. Dion Dawkins, David Edwards at the point of attack. The center, McGovern, goes up and gets the backside linebacker. Here comes Torrance on the drive block. And then it's Spencer freaking Brown doing the same thing with a nice kick out by the tight end. And here goes Josh Allen running right down your living room, man, with Toledo. They can run it with Cook or use a direct snap with the quarterback. Good luck stopping that. The Buffalo Bills finally got some big plays in their pass offense last week against Tampa. 8 plays of 20 yards or more and a couple bombs, one of them to a new receiver you'll hear about, Shavers, number 14. But they're going to have to beat man-to-man coverage. I really believe Stingley and Lassiter love their matchups this week against these wide receivers of the Buffalo Bills. So what will Buffalo do schematically to attack this one-plug coverage? Buffalo struggled against it last year. Remember, Josh Allen was 9 out of 30 passing, man, and a lot of it had to do with this one-plug coverage with Al-Shaair, the middle linebacker, taking care of Josh Allen as a spy. So what you can expect from this Houston defense against this Buffalo offense is a lot of one-plug coverage, we call it. It's a 4-man rush. It's 1 deep. And they have somebody that's responsible plugging up the middle. He's going to be responsible for the quarterback. They play man-to-man on the tight end, man-to-man on the slot. Stingley's playing man-to-man, and so is Lassiter. They have a linebacker over here covering James Cook. And then the other linebacker, number 0. His name is Al-Shaair. He is a hell of a player. He made 3 or 4 great plays covering the quarterback. And when Josh Allen scrambled to run or throw, this guy was like a bolt of lightning, shadowing and hitting and harassing Allen. Keep an eye on that in passing situations. Number 0, his name is Al-Shaair. I love him. Running down Josh Allen. They have to minimize Allen's scrambling, and this coverage with this plug linebacker was a great way that they did it last year. What excited me last week with Buffalo's pass offense is they finally got the running backs involved. If you look at Cook and you look at Ty Johnson, number 26, they combined for 127 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Cook caught 4 passes, Johnson caught 2. Hell, Johnson caught a 52-yard touchdown, a catch and run with a great lead block from Shavers. But getting those guys involved in the passing game was huge. 127 yards in 1 game, 2 touchdowns. Think about it. They only had 186 yards receiving combined in their first 9 games. So I think you're going to see a lot more balls thrown to the running backs in this game. R.J. Harvey of the Denver Broncos had a huge double move for a touchdown against Houston a few weeks ago, and I'm sure Joe Brady has that tape. This year, strangely enough, Buffalo's using a lot of 22 personnel. 2 backs, 2 tight ends, and only 1 receiver plays at a time. Well, if you're struggling at wide receiver, why would you play 3 at a time? Let's use 2 tight ends, 2 backs, play 1 at a time. 17% of the offense is 22 personnel. That's not even close. That's way more than anybody else in the NFL. They're using 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends, 1 wide out, 6% of the time. So almost 25% of the time, you're seeing 2 or 3 tight ends on the field. That's a big jump for the Buffalo Bills. Last year, they used an offensive lineman, Alec Anderson, as an extra tight end. They went with 6 offensive linemen with a jumbo attack. They did that more than everybody in the league. So this running game is certainly formidable. They can run all kinds of different plays, but the tight ends are a big part of it. Buffalo uses a lot of motion. Over 60% of the time, you'll see receivers going in motion. That helps them get some free releases. It helps Josh Allen read man or zone, and it certainly forces some rotations that at times get some secondary people out of position. The other thing to think about with Buffalo's offense, if Dalton Kincaid, their tight end, doesn't play. Remember, Kincaid has 450 yards receiving. He leads the Bills with 4 touchdowns. If Kincaid doesn't play, and you have Stingley out here covering, and you have Lassiter out here covering, and I'm telling you, they're 2 of the very, very best, you better start thinking about throwing the ball to these running backs against these linebackers. And you better get your scramble drill heated up, because I think Houston feels pretty good about their coverage plan against these Bills. Let's take a look at this Houston Texan defense. They have me feeling nicey, man. Woo! Man, these guys are fun to watch. You know, you see great individual effort, then you see great collective effort. They're very fast, they play hard, and they can tackle, man. They love to play football, and it's obvious. They're a reflection of their coach. You see some uncommon effort that you mark and you put on a video for training reel purposes to show young people how it's done. That's how strong I feel about the Texans on defense. And when they play at home on that indoor fast surface, whatever it is, in front of their crowd, they're really tough. If their offense could just get them some leads, this could really be something. Most importantly, they got to contain Josh Allen. That's easier said than done, but the Texans know better than anybody. They've been hurt by quarterbacks scrambling. Think about the 4th quarter against Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield somehow got out of a shit show and makes an unbelievable run to set up the game winner. And then Bo Nix at the end of the 4th quarter versus Denver. He scrambles for a 25-yard gain. So it's these scramble plays, quarterback running, buying time to create down-the-field shots. Houston's got to do a better job minimizing the damage. They also have a lot of designed runs. They run the quarterback Toledo, I told you. They got quarterback draws. Josh Allen has 75 rushing touchdowns. And in critical situations, you're going to see the tush push. You're going to see some direct snap quarterback runs. Hell, Josh Allen had a breakout on a tush push against the Dolphins. You guys know that? He ran a tush push and broke about 7 tackles. Unfortunately, he fumbled at the end of the play, but god dang, I've never seen that. The word plaster comes up just about every week. And that's talking to your secondary, your underneath coverage. You have to plaster to your man in coverage for long periods of time. Josh Allen will extend plays more than anybody in the league for longer periods of time. He'll reverse field. Hell, he can throw to his left, throw to his right. He has eyes in the back of his head. You got to really extend plays. And he has a howitzer, man. He can reach different area codes, man. So plaster and be prepared to make a play on the ball late in the down. All the statistical categories the Texans have dominated. Points per game, yards passing, 3rd down, rushing defense. They do an excellent job. There's 2 matchups this week that most excite me, and it's on the front, man. It's going to be Deion Dawkins, left tackle of the Buffalo Bills, against Danielle Hunter, star pass rusher of the Texans. That'll be a hell of a matchup. And on the other side, Spencer Brown, the right tackle, is going up against Will Anderson. Those 2 matchups are worth the price of admission. If the factor grade of these 2 pass rushers dominates, the Texans are going to win. If Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown can eliminate the factor grade, the batted balls, the hits on the quarterback, the sacks, the strips, all the penalties they force, if they can limit the damage, Buffalo wins this game. It'll be fun to watch those 2 matchups. The other thing I love about the Texans defense is they have some really good setup man on the inside. They can really push the pocket with Sheldon Rankins. They're also getting some quality play out of number 72, Tommy Togiai. And if Danico Autry, number 96, is healthy and ready to go, he can rush inside or out. So there are some pushers up the gut that really free these two outside rushers to have a hell of a party, man. They also have 2 shutdown corners. 2. Most teams are lucky to have 1 shutdown corner. But when you have Derek Stingley with 3 interceptions playing opposite of Kamari Lassiter, when you watch Lassiter, you're going to swear you're seeing Buda Baker playing corner. This guy has 58 tackles, man. He's got 2 picks, 9 passes broken up. I love Lassiter, love Stingley. 2 great edge rushers, 2 of the top shutdown corners playing together. The Texans get a lot of quick stops on defense. They're one of the top 3rd down defenses in football, and opposing offenses only average 5.3 plays per drive. That's the fewest in the league. That's one of the reasons why this Texan offense has 32 minutes and change of time of possession. And getting off the field this much, the Texans only play 56 snaps a game of defense. So if you're Will Anderson or you're Danielle Hunter, you don't need a rest. You're fresh as a daisy, man, for all 4 quarters. That's been a huge winning edge. Nobody really thinks about that. The Texans play a lot of cover 4. Quarter, 4 deep with 3 underneath and a 4-man pass rush. Quarters coverage. The Texans play 29% of that coverage. That's the 3rd highest in the league. And let me say this, they're only giving up 57% completion percentages. And as a guy that likes to scheme plays to beat quarters, here's the problem. To beat quarters, okay, you got to have the halfback get out in a route to run a route. Well, if you get him out without helping on the defensive end, your tackle's one-on-one, your quarterback, boom, he gets sacked. Hard to get your backs out against this quarters coverage. And if you want to try to beat him over the top, which a lot of people try to do against quarters, ask Stingley. He'll say, bring it on. He's playing 0 coverage with no help in that coverage anyway. He wants you to throw the ball over his head. And so does Lassiter. They have no fear in their corners getting isolated in that coverage. And when you diagram a play to beat quarters, let's just say we stay up all night, come up with 4 or 5 great plays to beat quarters, and then you call the play, guess what? They play other coverages, and now you got a cover 4 beater called against cover 3 or man-to-man, and you're deep shit. So they do a lot of things well, and they mix their coverages, and they're hard to be spot on and call the right play all the time against a coverage you expect to see. They create a lot of negative plays. 18% of the running plays against Houston are stuffs, 0 or negative yardage. They get a lot of incomplete passes. Hell, they batted 3 balls down against the Titans last week. So when you get 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, you're giving these pass rushers a lot of at-bats. And when they get a beat on you, good luck. They're excellent against the pass. When you look at the quarterback rating against the Texans this year, I'm sure Josh Allen is seeing a 72.7 QBR. That's number 1 in football. Only 57% of passes are complete. 6.0 yards per attempt. That's number 1. And they've only given up 10 touchdown passes. That puts them in the top 4. The other thing I love about the Texan defense is when you throw these quick screens, you know how much I hate these quick screens, Clay? Last year, I think Buffalo threw 4 of these quick screens against the Houston Texans. One of them was covered. Josh got sacked in the red zone. Another one, they flipped out to James Cook. It was like a bunch of piranhas, 4-yard loss. Another one got a negative yardage loss. They rally to these quick screens. They eliminate the cheap and easy throws, and I love Houston for doing that. And lastly, they don't blitz a whole lot in their sub package, but they will give you a lot of load fronts, double A fronts, and they'll put some of these double trouble blitzes in, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Let's take a look at the matchups. It all starts up front. The marquee matchup is going to be Deion Dawkins against Danielle Hunter. Hunter has 42 pressures and 9 sacks. The Texans are the only defense in the league with 2 pass rushers with 8 or more sacks. And I see over here Hunter most of the time against Deion Dawkins. On the other side, it's going to be Spencer Brown against Will Anderson. Anderson has 8 sacks, 52 pressures. Hell, he's forced 3 fumbles. The guy's a pain in the ass. And last year in that game, 20-20, just seconds left in the game, they put Will Anderson over here on Deion Dawkins, and he pushed Dawkins right into the quarterback, forced an incomplete pass. They had Samuel wide open. But that pressure won the ball game. The factor grade. These matchups need to be studied carefully. The inside three of the Bills are solid. Edwards, McGovern, and Torrance. They've played every game. This group has had a lot of continuity for the Bills. The only guy to miss one start is Spencer Brown. Other than that, these guys have been healthy and they played pretty damn good football. They can run block and they can pass block and pick up stunts. The Bills have a lot of good players on the inside of their defense as well. Sheldon Rankins, number 90, is playing 60% of the plays, and Tim Settle, number 98, plays 54% of the plays. Then they have number 72, Tommy Togiai, coming in there from Ohio State. You ought to see this guy shed blocks and make plays and his ability to run to the ball. He has good playing range. Danico Autry, number 96, the ex-Raiders, a hell of a player. He's finally healthy. And they're getting some really good snaps from Mario Edwards, number 97 as well. So they do have some fresh guys inside, and they set the table for these edge rushers. And don't go to sleep on Derek Barnett either, number 95 or number 92, Horton. These two young edge rushers, they give Hunter and they give Anderson a breath when they need it. They have a collection of pass rushers. It's a credit to the Texans for finding these guys and developing them. James Cook is the feature back of the Bills. He's on tap for his third straight 1,000-yard season. He needs 32 yards to get to 1,000, and he'll be the first back to have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons since the great Thurman Thomas. He did it 8 times. But James Cook is on tap for 1,646 yards. That'll put him third place single season all time in Buffalo Bill history behind a guy named O.J. Simpson, who had a little more yardage than that twice. As I said, James Cook's biggest contribution in this game might just be as a pass receiver. He had 4 big catches last week. He caught a rail down the sideline off a check down for a touchdown. He slid out of the backfield in a short yardage situation for a big catch and run. I think they're going to see Cook catch some passes in this ball game. The other running back I like a lot is Ty Johnson. You know, Ty Johnson wears number 26, and if you're really a running back coach out there or a young running back, watch him in passing situations. He will knock the shit out of you if you're a blitzer. He knows who to block, he knows how to block, and he can't wait to block them. He's got 2 or more catches in the last 3 games. He only had 2 catches in the first 7 games combined. So Ty Johnson, he is on the rise. He had 2 for 61 last week against the Bucs. This guy can really help them if it becomes a throw-it game. And he can run routes out of the backfield, which is big. The linebackers for the Bills are exciting. Azeez Al-Shaair, he wears number 0. I think he's the ringleader of this defense. He had a huge impact in last year's game against Buffalo, spying on the quarterback, made a great play in coverage deep down the middle of the field, had a couple tackles for loss. He leads this team with 65 tackles. He has a passionate play style. I love him. And his sidekick is number 39, Henry To'o. I love saying that name, man. He's got 50 tackles this year. He has missed 12 or 13 tackles if you look at the stats on Pro Football Focus. But he fires his gun. If he misses, he forces it back into a posse of Texans. This guy really knows how to play. They do not take either one of these linebackers off of the field ever. Then they have another linebacker named E.J. Speed. How about that? How'd you like to be a linebacker called E.J. Speed? The former Indianapolis Colt, he wears number 45. He plays in their base defense, and when he plays, man, he spikes people into the ground. He's a very physical style of player. He has 43% play time, but he's got 28 tackles, and he can be an impact tackler. He's got a nose for the ball. The matchups on the outside, it's Pro Bowler Derek Stingley having another great year. He wears number 24, usually on the right side of the offense, the left side of the Texan defense. He will play star coverage on occasion and go get whoever he wants. 67 QBR against them, 3 interceptions, 11 PBUs. I don't think anybody plays better at the corner position in the NFL than Stingley. So you want to throw away from him, and then you throw into this guy, Kamari Lassiter. He might be the all-time Gruden grinder. I don't think this guy gets enough publicity. Hell, I haven't heard enough about him until this broadcast we're having here. This guy has 9 PBUs, 2 picks, 58 tackles. I mean, this guy gets off blocks, and he has a very strong desire to hit your ass. And if you crack the safety and he has to come up and replace, he'll knock the shit out of you. I love Lassiter. 2 excellent corners. And who's it going to be at wide receiver? Is it going to be Joshua Palmer? He was the prize free agent acquisition. He's had some injuries. He didn't play until last week. He came out week 6, missed 4 or 5 games. He played 28 snaps against Tampa on Sunday. He had 2 catches for 17 yards. They need Palmer to rise up, get a can of whoop ass, and bring it to Houston with them. He's not got a touchdown this year, just 16 for 251. But number 5, Palmer, somebody's got to go up against the great Stingley. And on the other side, I have no idea what they're going to do. It used to be Keon Coleman, the ex-FSU Seminole. He had 8 catches, 112 yards, a touchdown against Buffalo. Since that time, he's had issues. He's been suspended. He didn't play last week. They sat him down for missing a team meeting or being late or whatever. So they turned it over to Tyrell Shavers. Here's a guy undrafted, number 14. He played at San Diego State, wasn't drafted, came into the game pretty much as a blocker. He had only 7 catches, 82 yards. Guess what? Shavers has 4 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. He throws the key block on Ty Johnson's touchdown. Great job by Ty Shavers. And you know who they brought back, Jake? Who? Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis was a great Buffalo Bill for 4 years. He left in free agency, signed with the Jaguars. Had an injury-riddled season, has really had a hard time coming back. Coach McDermott put him on the practice squad. Gabe Davis shows up, has 3 catches for 40 yards, including a big grab on 4th down. Gabe Davis has great history with Josh Allen. They have a chemistry. So who's it going to be? Are they going to stay with Shavers and Davis? Are they going to give Keon Coleman another shot? Don't know. But whoever it is, you got to deal with Lassiter and Stingley, and I'll bet they're licking their chops. In the slot, Buffalo uses Khalil Shakir quite a bit. He's their leading receiver. Shakir has 46 for 454. You know, his route tree is within 5 yards. He rarely catches a pass beyond 5 yards. He catches a lot of drag routes, quick screens, bubble screens. 368 out of 454 after the catch. And if Jalen Petrie plays, number 5, you're in for one hell of a treat. Petrie is a great slot corner. He's got 46 tackles, 3 interceptions. He's missed the last 2 games with a concussion. If he plays, that's a significant upgrade for this Houston defense. If he doesn't, it'll be Miles Bryant, number 25, when they're in their big nickel. Miles Bryant can play safety, but in their big nickel, they put Bryant in for Petrie over the slot. And if they want to play a pure DB, they use Tremont Smith, number 11. So if they want to be in a 3 cornerback system, it'll be Smith. If they want to use the big nickel, it'll be Miles Bryant. If they want the best nickel in football, it'll be Petrie. Let's hope he plays. If Shakir can't play, we don't know what Curtis Samuel's status is. It could be Elijah Moore, number 18, if Shakir can't go. Keep an eye on this slot position for Buffalo. It's been one that Josh Allen has liked over the years. At tight end for Buffalo, Dalton Kincaid with that hamstring looks like he's out of the game. And that's a big loss because he is a hell of a receiver. He leads Buffalo, almost 500 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. It'll be number 88, Dawson Knox. And Knox has done a heck of a job on the line of scrimmage as a blocker. You can detach him. He can play in the slot. You can put him on the backside of trips. He's very good in the scramble drill. He can run. And rookie Jackson Hawes, number 85 out of Georgia Tech, has been a huge addition to this team. He's not going to show up on the stat sheet because they don't throw him the ball very much. But in the running game, in pass protection, you want number 85 on your team all day. And don't forget about this name, Alec Anderson. If Alec Anderson comes into the game as a tight end, he wears number 70. He's an offensive tackle. Don't be surprised. He played a lot last year. And without Kincaid, and obviously with the help perhaps they want to get against these great pass rushers, maybe you see Alec Anderson return to tight end. The safeties for Houston, they have one safety that I think is having a Pro Bowl caliber season. Bullock out of USC's had a hell of a year. He's changed his number now. He's wearing number 2. He has incredible range, man. He'll be back there. I call him the road runner. He's back there keying the quarterback, and if he gets a good jump and he catches you, you're through. You remember that show, The Road Runner? The guy's a good open field tackler. He's second on the team in tackles. Number 2, Bullock, is a hell of a player. God, I get excited, man. You got Stingley, you got Lassiter, you might have Petrie and Bullock. Shit, I'd like to call some plays for Houston. The other safety in nickel is Jalen Mills. He's wearing number 30. He's an inexperienced safety. He spent most of his career at corner. But remember, if they use a base defense, they'll have Bryant, number 25, playing back there. If they go to big nickel, Bryant comes down here and plays potentially, and Mills will come into the game. And they got to do a hell of a job staying deep, staying on top against Josh Allen and all these scrambles. What a matchup we have in this one. Okay, this Houston Texan offense against this Buffalo Bill defense. The Texans have a first-year coordinator. His name is Nick Caley. They also have a first-year offensive line coach, Cole Popovich. Last year, they had Bobby Slowick calling plays on offense, and obviously the Texans made a change, so now it's Caley. And this offense has been inconsistent. You watch them against the Baltimore Ravens on the road a few weeks ago, they score 44 points. You watch them in the fourth quarter against Jacksonville a couple weeks ago, they move the ball and they do some great things. But they've also had some slow starts, especially with Mills at quarterback the last couple weeks. They got to get this ball moving. They got to get a lead so this defense can unleash the fury. They've had 6 games this year where they've scored under 20 points. And they've lost 4 games when their defense has held the opposition under 21 points. That's more than any team in the league. So they haven't scored enough points. They got to cut it loose. They're going to have to score some points, I think, to beat Josh Allen and this Buffalo Bill team. They're struggling in all the statistical category. Yards per play, they're 25th. Yards per rush, they're 22nd. Yards per pass, they're 25th. But they do get 32 minutes and 22 seconds of time of possession. A lot of that has to do because their defense has been awesome. They get 3 and outs, 5 plays or less to a drive. You get many, many opportunities to do something with the ball. The biggest struggle that the Texans have had is their red zone offense. They've only scored touchdowns on 43% of their drives. That's 31st in the league. That's excruciating. That's why their kicker's on IR. He hurt his quad kicking 5 field goals. They got to put the ball in the end zone. It's a 60-40 pass-run ratio. They've called 60% pass, which is the 8th highest percentage in the league, only 40% run. They use 11 personnel 76% of the time, man. 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. Coach Caley was the tight end for Sean McVay and the Rams. A couple years ago, the Rams were in 11 personnel almost every single play. So they have a lot of young receivers and they're playing 3 at a time. We'll get to that in just a second. They don't use multiple tight ends. I think one of the big reasons that Houston's having a hard time running the ball with Marks and Chubb is they just don't have a blocking tight end. Hell, they've been using Fisher, number 57, a backup offensive tackle, to come in and block in line. They just don't have the tight end firepower to block at the line of scrimmage. They use multiple tight ends on 10% of the plays. That's the least amount in the National Football League. So they're a little bit predictable from a personnel standpoint. Sometimes that can hurt you. Who is the feature back of the Houston Texans? Last year we did a couple Texans games, and I mean to tell you, Joe Mixon had me feeling nicey. He reminded me of Ricky Waters. But Mixon, who had over 1,000 yards last year, still hasn't come back from that foot injury. And over the last 2 weeks, the feature back clearly is Woody Marks, 4th-round pick out of USC. Nick Chubb has taken a back seat to Marks for whatever reason. Woody has 106 snaps. Chubb has 28 snaps in the last 2 games. And at the end of the ball game Sunday in Tennessee, Marks made 3 runs at the end of the game to set up that game-winning field goal. Both of these running backs have 99 carries, both of them. Marks averages 3.5 and Chubb averages 4.4. Both of them have scored 2 touchdowns. The Texans only have 5 rushing touchdowns, which is the fewest amount in the National Football League. They got to get more production from the running game. In a game like this, don't you think you'd see a little bit more of Nick Chubb? I don't know. In the passing game, the Texans, they feature Nico Collins. Split end away from trips. He wears number 12. Hell of a player. Big guy. He's the deep ball threat as well. And they use their tight end, Dalton Schultz. 43% of the catches come between Collins and Schultz. 47% of the yardage passing is Schultz and Collins. So then they have 3 other young guys that all have around 200 yards apiece. They're working their way into the lineup. One of the big things the Texans do is they use Nico Collins on the backside of trips. I call it trips X isolation. You call a play on one side with trips to beat cover 2. This combination over here, you might have 4 or 5 or 6 different trips combinations that are designed to beat cover 2. But if you ever do get a single safety, they isolate Nico Collins on the backside. And we'll see if Jake can still remember these hand signals. But I've seen Collins run a quick out. We go like that. I've seen him run a slant. We give him this. I've seen him run a square out. We just go like that. He runs a hook route. He runs a deeper hook route. We point at the ground. He runs a fly route. But anyways, the trips is for split safety. Over here, if it's a single high look, you might look over there and give him this. What's he running?
Slant.
What's this?
Hook.
What's this?
Slide. You
don't have to be that smart if Malasek can get it, but they love to isolate number 12, Nico Collins, on the backside of trips. He is a badass, and he is the deep ball threat. They've thrown it 20 yards or more in the air 13 times to Nico. He's caught 5 of them for 196. He's healthy now. He is the go-to guy with the wide receivers. The Buffalo Bills defense, Bobby Slowick or head coach Sean McDermott can call the plays. They sometimes both call the plays, probably in the same game. But it was great to see some reinforcements back in the lineup against Tampa. Christian Benford returned at left corner. I saw my man, Teron Johnson, come back to play nickel. Hell, I even saw A.J. Epinesa come back, number 57, to give us depth off the edge. T.J. Sanders, second-round pick out of South Carolina, showed up after a 4-week absence on IR. They got some healthy reinforcements, and they're much needed. The Bills have had issues stopping the run this season for whatever reason. They gave up 202 yards rushing to the Buccaneers just this past Sunday. Mayfield had 39 scrambling, but third-string running back Sean Tucker ran for over 100 yards. And he was clean, man, on a couple of them. 2 weeks ago, Devon Achane had 175 yards rushing. They've given up some big runs to a lot of different backs. And when you look at it, why are we giving up so many yards on the running plays? Well, they've had some tosses, some perimeter runs, the outside runs on the 8 and the 9 hole that have given them problems. Too much yardage after contact. I mean, you got to knock guys back, knock them down. They can't drag the pile forward. They're giving up too much after contact. And then it's the crack and replace issue. When the wide receiver comes in and cracks the safety, the corner's got to come up and make these tackles. They failed to do that a few times. And they missed some tackles. Hell, I saw Cam Lewis free in the hole for a no-gainer against the Miami Dolphins. And guess what Achane did? Woohoo! He made him miss. He made Poyer miss. It turns into a 60-yard breakout touchdown. And the run fits, they got to be exact. Last week, you saw Teron Johnson and Milano run into each other. That caused a huge breakout run for Tucker. So it's been a lot of different issues. And I still think the pad level by some of these young defensive linemen can get better, can get lower. It's never good enough. The Bills have given up 45 runs this year of 10 yards or more. That ain't going to cut it. They've given up 5 runs of 40 yards or more. That's hard to do in this league. That's not acceptable in a Sean McDermott defense. The pass rush has kind of disappeared in the last few weeks. They have 20 sacks, but I think they're really lacking that inside pass rush. Ever since Ed Oliver got hurt, it's been a problem. They welcomed back Michael Hoyt, who was suspended the first 6 games, man, he was great against the Kansas City Chiefs. But he got hurt in that game, so they really don't have the inside force, that pass rusher coming right up the gut. And it's allowed offenses to get help on Rousseau and Bosa, which has been making their life difficult. The Bills have had an evolving secondary. They've had a lot of moving parts. We just saw Maxwell Hairston come back, their rookie. He's starting to play more and more here at right corner. He's still splitting time with Tre'Davious White, but Hairston has an interception against Kansas City. He gets another one against Miami, and he can really roll. They brought in Jordan Poyer. He's a longtime Buffalo Bill, but he was in Miami. He was available. They brought him back. They had some issues at safety. You know, since Poyer came back, he has solidified this Buffalo secondary. He had 11 tackles against Tampa, but he's also been a great mentor to Cole Bishop. And this second-year safety for the Bills, he's going places, man. This guy's playing his ass off. And I think a lot of it has to do with him studying and listening to Poyer, getting on a routine, how to improve in the early downs, what to look for, anticipating plays, reading stems, you name it. And then they got Christian Benford back to come in and play left corner. He missed the Miami Dolphin game with an injury. The Bills do not blitz a lot, only 21% of the time. But I do know this, the blitzes they have, they're damn good blitzes. They got a 3-down package where they cover the center with a big defensive lineman. They have 2 defensive ends out there, and then they'll use 2 linebackers covering the guard. 3-down linemen, 2 linebackers, 6 DBs. They got overload blitzes, all-out blitzes. It is sweet, man. They also have 4-man overloads. Cole Bishop has a couple sacks. The point I'm making is Mills, the quarterback for the Texans, he's not the most mobile guy. And he has had a hard time against some of these all-out blitzes. And I look for McDermott and Babbage to heat him up, man. Surprise him on a short week. They even use a lot of corner blitzes, but I do expect McDermott to raise up the pressure package this week. Keys for the Bills defense, I think they got to have a safety back here leaning towards Nico Collins. Don't put him back here in the middle or leaning over here to the trips. I would lean him over here to Nico Collins. That's where Mills is going. Whenever he sees Nico Collins over here, what's he giving him, Malisack? Go route. So if you have the safety leaning over there, it can help you. Lean the safety that way. I think they got to stunt the front, spike the 3, loop the nose, try to screw up these Texan blocking schemes and knock the run out. The Texans up front have struggled blocking movement this year. And finally, I would play a lot of zone coverage against Mills. Eliminate the big plays, use some zone blitzes, 3 deep, 3 under, palms, blitz checks, or whatever. Heat them up, but play zone most of the time. I think that's the way to go against a young quarterback that doesn't have a whole lot of recent playing experience. Let's get into the matchups. The offensive line for the Texans, I have a big circle here at left tackle. It's the rookie, Ariante Ursary. He's out of Minnesota, number 79. He started every single game. He's given up 7 sacks if you look at all the Pro Football Focus stuff. But hello, Joey Bosa, big game Bosa. He leads the team in sacks, 15.2% pressure rate. He plays 50% on the right side, 50% on the left side. Where do you think he's going to go in this game? I bet you see Bosa over here against Ursary. The other tackle is Trent Brown the last couple weeks. Played for us with the Raiders. Hey, ask me why I signed Trent Brown?
Why?
Well, he played for the Patriots when they won the Super Bowl. I saw Trent Brown block Bosa when he was a Charger, and I saw him block Khalil Mack when they were both Chargers. I said, let's get Trent Brown. Played pretty good when he was healthy, but Trent Brown is taking over at right tackle, and I expect him and Greg Rousseau to have a hell of a battle. I love Rousseau. He's got 3 sacks. He doesn't have the sack production, but he's still a very good run defender. He's a time bomb waiting to go off. They also use A.J. Epinesa, number 57. He's a badass. This guy can really run. He plays with high effort. They have 3 pretty good outside rushers, Ursary and Bosa. You better get help where help is needed. And then inside, there's been a lot of turnover at right guard. Hell, the last few weeks, I don't know who's playing. Ingram, number 69, was brought in from Minnesota to be the guard. He got hurt. They put in Juice Scruggs, number 70. Hell, then I saw this guy, City Sowell, playing, number 62. So now they moved Titus Howard into right guard, number 71. I think Howard and Brown will man the right side. And then the center is Jake Andrews, number 60. He came over from the New England Patriots. The left guard, they've had injuries there. Tomlinson, number 75, was brought in from Seattle to be the left guard. But I've seen Patterson, number 54, playing the last couple weeks. A lot of changing parts inside. Hello, Buffalo! They got to rev this front up, man. I really think Daquan Jones, number 92 at defensive tackle's got to have a big game. Rookie Deion Walker out of Kentucky, number 96, starting to show a little pass rush. He's a big dude. And they can always get some quality snaps from Larry Ogunjobi, the ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, and Jordan Phillips, who's been around, you know. But this nucleus of players on the front for the Buffalo Bills has to really dominate, in my opinion, and play the game of the season on a short week. The running back for the Texans we've talked about, Woody Marks, is taken over. Nick Chubb is in the background. Those two backs against the linebacking core of the Buffalo Bills. They've had injuries. To me, Terrell Bernard, who's got 52 tackles, the middle linebacker, number 8, heck of a player. I know he had 11 tackles. I know he had 2 TFLs, 2 PBUs, but he still doesn't look like he's 100% off of that ankle injury. He's getting better, but this guy's twitchy and excellent and instinctive, but he's not 100%. Milano, number 58, has come back after that pec injury, still not the same player he was. He has 30 tackles, flickering here and there, but they need these 2 veteran linebackers. Let's freaking go. I love Dorian Williams, 42. Mostly he comes in that 3-down package and covers the guard, or he comes in to spy on a quarterback. Williams led the team in tackles last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him some more snaps. And Shaq Thompson, number 45, the ex-Carolina Panther, played great when he was out there. I think he's back from that hamstring. Look for Thompson and Williams to perhaps get some more snaps if need be. But they got to shut down this running game. They use some 2-back sets with their fullback, and they split time with Marks and Chubb. And I'll say this about Marks, number 27. He isn't the best pickup guy on blitzes. So that's why I think you're going to see McDermott bring some of these 4-man overloads to see if Woody Marks knows where he's going in pass protection. It's hard on these backs. The tight end is Dalton Schultz. He's got a lot of production receiving, over 50 catches. He's not a blocker. You don't want to see Schultz in pass protection, and he's really not a guy that flourishes in the C gap as a blocker. He's a receiving tight end. He can really run, and he's good after the catch. And that's the comfort zone of Davis Mills in the 2-minute drill and in some of these 3rd-down situations. The backup tight end, number 87, is Cade Stover, the ex-Ohio State Buckeye. But the guy you see the most is number 57, a big offensive tackle, Fisher, the old Notre Dame tackle. He comes running out there to play tight end to give the Texans some girth. Man, some guys that can block at the line of scrimmage. The matchups on the outside are interesting. Nico Collins is going to be a focal point for Buffalo. Got to stop Nico Collins. Be alert when they isolate him on the backside of trips. Lean the safety that way. Rookie, Maxwell Hairston. I think this guy's on the rise, and you know he can fly. 4.28 at the combine. This cat runs 24.5 miles an hour. That's how quick I run down to Hooters to get my wings. They also got the veteran, Tre'Davious White, splitting time. Against Miami, both of these guys started because Benford didn't play. Tre'Davious White is a mentor to Hairston, just like Poyer is to Bishop. That's how McDermott's working this building. I like these 2 corners. On the other side, it's going to be Christian Benford, one of the all-time Buffalo Bills, man. He comes out of Villanova. He works himself into the starting lineup. He gave up a couple touchdowns on some bullshit 50-50 plays earlier in the year, but Benford can play. And he's going to go up against, I think, the rookie, number 2 pick for the Texans, his name is Jaden Higgins. Higgins was the 34th pick in the draft out of Iowa State. Higgins is coming on, man. He wears number 81, 23 catches, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think Higgins had his best game last week. He had a beautiful catch on a go ball down the sideline, 4 catches, 55 yards. 81 Higgins versus Benford. I love it. So it's Schultz and Collins that catch all those passes, but don't fall asleep on Higgins. He's got 256. And I love this number 19, Xavier Hutchinson. You know where he went to college? Iowa State, just like Higgins. He's got 24 for 263 and 3 scores. Number 19, he comes in short motion. He inserts, blocks linebackers. He's a physical beast. I like number 19, Xavier Hutchinson, and I like Higgins. The other receiver you're going to see, who's it going to be in the slot? Is it going to be Christian Kirk, number 13, the former Arizona Cardinal? He's been around the league, but he's had a lot of injuries. Don't be surprised if you see another Iowa State Cyclone. His name is Jalen Noel. He's got 19 for 207. This guy can fly, man. Noel wears number 14. So they got 3 Iowa State Hawkeyes. Coach Campbell's probably proud of that. Young guys that are emerging. Who's it going to be covering in the slot for the Buffalo Bills? It's Taron Johnson, number 7. He returns after being injured for 2 weeks. Johnson, one of the best corners in the slot in football. And Cam Lewis, number 39, will come in some dime situations to play linebacker. Cam Lewis backed up Johnson at nickel the last couple weeks when Johnson was hurt. Very aggressive, quick and twitchy cover guys and tacklers. I like both of them. The safeties, we all know Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer was with Buffalo for an extended period of time. He signed with Miami. He got released. He came back to Buffalo. Not only is he mentoring Cole Bishop, he's playing his ass off, man. He had 11 tackles last week. He has good instincts, great communication. But the guy that's really emerging for Buffalo is Cole Bishop, number 24. He's got 3 interceptions, multiple passes broken up. His range is fantastic. He keys the quarterback. He gets great jumps. His pattern recognition, his situational understanding, his tackling in space has been excellent. Cole Bishop, number 24, is on the rise. Very important for the Buffalo Bills to rev up the pass rush. Houston got rid of their whole offensive line except for Titus Howard. They brought in a bunch of players through the draft, through free agency. They had a 37.9 pressure rate last year. That was the worst in football. They gave up 54 sacks. They brought in a new line coach, new players. That pressure rate's down to 32%. But if I was Buffalo, I'd get Bosa, I'd get my man Rousseau. I'd sit right next to those guys on the plane, and I'd say, what do you guys want to eat? Let's freaking go. Well, you got to pick somebody. I mean, you got the MVP Josh Allen against this number 1 defense, the Houston Texans. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills because Rousseau and Bosa and the Bills defense is going to rise up. Bills 20, Texans 16. Let's go, Buffalo! Woo! I love this. Look at this jersey. You like this? You think Bosa will send me a 97? Come on, Joey. I need a little help here, you know? Come on.